focus in on the other stock, Cochin Shipyard, which has emerged as the lowest bidder for Indian Navy SWC orders worth almost 5,400 crores. And look at that intraday chart of Cochin Shipyard. After this news, we've seen gains of almost 8% coming about. It's up, it's trading at those levels of 558. Daljit, do you like this? I know you're not going to talk stock specific, just the outlook on the sector.
It only reminds me that if you don't have too many options in the sector you want to play. Right now people want to play defense, and if you don't have too many options, then whatever comes your way, you want to play that. And it also reminds me what used to happen in previous bull run when we used to say any order coming, you will bring in that.
Let's just see what management has to say about it. Madhu Nair, CMD at Cochin Shipyard, is joining us. Good afternoon and congratulations, Mr. Nair. If you could tell us what is the kind of time frame we are looking at, how will the revenue start flowing in, and when will it actually start to flow in?
Thank you. And first of all, it's been something. There's an order which we have been looking for, and we still have a fair bit processes to be completed before this gets converted into a contract. But once the contract is done, the time frames as per the bid is the first vessel is to be delivered in 42 months' time, and thereafter it's a time frame of 2 vessels every year.
The total order size was 5,400 crore. Is that the revenue that you will get, or will you be sharing it with other bidders? What's your share actually?
No, this is 5,400 crores. It's for 8 vessels. It's 8 vessels of the same type. So it's a series order of 8 vessels.
And this comes entirely to the Cochin Shipyard.
Correct.
Okay, but who were the other 2 bidders who were close in the race, and are you actually splitting the overall order that you were expecting? How is it?
No, this was altogether 16 vessels, and the bid conditions was that the L1 bidder would actually get a maximum of 8 vessels.
Okay.
So this is exactly in line with the bid conditions.
Okay, and other 2 get to split the 4 each, or if you could share with us some more details on that.
I'm probably not the right person to actually communicate on the balance part, but then all I can say is, as far as we are concerned, we wanted to come in winner on this tender, right. And I think we got that.
Mr. Nair, what kind of margins are you looking from this order worth over 5,400 crore? And when exactly will the revenues be reflected in your financials?
I probably will not be able to talk about the margins on the project at this juncture.
If you could give us a ballpark figure also, if the margins would be good for our viewers.
Probably it may not be correct on my part to talk about specific margins or specific projects, but then you have a feel of what kind of margins we have been making on our shipbuilding part. So I think we should look at consistent margins involved.
Okay.
When the turnover gets reflected, again, as I said, we'll have to wait for some more time before the contracts. Actually, there is a process, standard process, which we'll have to go through with the Navy and the Ministry of Defense before the contracts get concluded. And as I said, since the first vessel is 42 months delivery, naturally payments are in stage payments which will come in. I probably will have to dig up a bit more into detail before I can tell you exactly when the stages would come in. But there is definitely a payment which will start when the contracts are getting signed, and thereafter the monies will start to flow in as the project moves forward. But the first vessel is 42 months from a contract.
42 months from the contract. Mr. Nair, but if you look at the trend in commodities market over the last 12 months or so, we have seen significant appreciation in commodity prices. So does this contract account for that, going forward over next 42, 48 months when you'll be executing it? Will you be shielded against any appreciation in cost? What is the structure? How predictable will it be for analysts, to forecast your earnings?
I think this is standard in a shipbuilding space, and in a shipbuilding space, what we all try to normally do is try to go in for series orders with we always have the advantages of the learning effect on the production side, and the equipment is always being with the suppliers and the sub-suppliers. You can always go and negotiate and fix your pricing on a much more predictable basis because there are much more larger number of vessels. So all those have been, we have been in the business for some time, so these are things which we know fairly robustly how to handle.
How is the pipeline really looking? Have you bid for some other such big contracts?
There were. This is the one which we were now expecting. There is one more Ministry of Home Affairs tender in which we have participated. It is still in the process.
Mr. Nair, before we let you go, just last question. What's the current order book size? And if you could also give us the breakup of your order book between shipbuilding and ship repairing?
Say shipbuilding, we approximate figures, the order book would be about 3,500 crores is what we had. And we now have this new order of 5,400 crores coming in. And you are aware that we are also building a large aircraft carrier project which is being executed in different phases. So the aircraft carrier project will also bring in an order book, but we are not including that in the projected order book because it's the contract has not yet been signed on that. On the ship repair side, we normally do not talk about a future order book portion. It's generally we pick up enough for the next year or so. And as you're aware, last year we had done about 550 crores of ship repair turnover. This year also we are fairly moving towards that kind of trajectory.
Okay, Mr. Nair, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon and congratulations once again. That is Cochin Shipyard. Stock is still quoting up, now up by 9%, in fact more than 9%. Mr. Kohli, you have a call on this stock?
No, as I said, we don't take calls on the various stocks, but I think this is a long gestation period projects. No, so right now everything is good. Right now you want to factor everything what is going to happen after 4 years. But in between, if there is any blip, then there is a problem. Then you will find what, and if we go by the track record,
could there be execution issues?
There could be, and we see defense PSUs which are already in existence, what kind of track record they have last 40, 50 years. Now you can argue that things will change in future. Yes, they might change, but I think I would still wait for some more time and see these numbers come.
All right.